So I'm going to start by removing the two screws at the bottom of the device near the USB-C charging port. Next, remove the screws and be ready for heating the back of the device. Do not lose the screws. With this one, I heated the back of the device at the maximum temperature on this heat gun, 1100 Fahrenheit. The air output was at 50% and for 1 minute 6 seconds. The next step was to simply use a suction cup in order to start pulling the back glass and create a small gap between the back glass and the frame of this iPhone 17. So as soon as I see a small gap that is big enough, I can insert one of my tools and completely detach the back glass from the double-sided tape. Then simply insert a guitar pick and then start moving the guitar pick from one side to the other while making sure that you do not insert the full length of the guitar pick. Simply insert like 3 mm. There is only one side that you need to be extremely careful because you have the cable coming from the motherboard going to the back glass. If you do not insert the full length of the guitar pick or half of the guitar pick, you're not going to touch any of the components. So here I decided to hit again the top of the device since it has been a few minutes. Then I inserted the guitar pick and everything went super well. I was able to go through the top of the device without having any issues. So this is the cable that I was talking about. If you're inserting the guitar pick, make sure that you're careful on that side of the device. Right after that, you can see I can remove the back glass completely and then have access to the battery. So before disconnecting any cables, you need to remove the retaining plate that is covering the cables. So remove two screws. Right after that, you can simply pull from the right to the left in order to remove the retaining plate. Then after that, you can disconnect the cable for the wireless flashlight and microphone. The next cable that I'm disconnecting is the battery cable. After this one has been disconnected from the motherboard, I can start working on the removal process of the battery. So with this one, the iPhone 17, it is basically the same thing that they did with the iPhone 16. You will need a 9-volt supply battery or 9-volt supply from a device. And then after that, you will need two cables in order to apply the 9-volt to the battery double-sided tape. So here's what I did. The cable that I attached to the iPhone is the cable going to the negative side of the battery. If you look at the side of the battery, you will see plus or minus. That cable on the iPhone attached already is coming from the minus side of the 9-volt battery. So the positive side of the battery is the one that I'm holding with the tweezer. I'm just using the tweezer as a conductor in order to apply the positive 9-volt to the shiny spot that you see at the bottom of the battery. Without using the tweezer, I could have simply taken the cable and apply it directly to the shiny spot at the bottom of the battery. That option also is going to work. You do not have to use a tweezer. So on the back of the battery, there is this metallic paper-like shape that is on the back of the battery, and it has the double-sided tape on either side. So that metallic paper-like shape is going to get heated, and once it has enough heat to soften the double-sided tape that is on the back of the battery, it will simply be very easy to simply pull the battery out. This is very easy in theory to remove the battery. You simply hit the back of the battery with the 9-volt battery and then simply remove the battery because the double-sided tape is heated already. So this is effectively what I was doing with the heating method of my battery removal. I will hit the screen of the device in order to transfer the heat from the screen to the back side of the battery, which has the double-sided tape. Once the double-sided tape has been heated, you can simply pull the battery out. So what Apple has implemented with this type of battery design and battery removal design is very safe. I believe using the alcohol method is also going to work on this type of battery design, but doing the 9-volt battery is a lot easier and it is clean. It doesn't leave any stains. For battery replacement, I recommend that you try to get a original battery. If you cannot find a original battery supplier, you can buy an aftermarket battery. The original battery is going to come with everything in order to redo this process once you need to replace the battery again. So here in the US, you can buy Apple original part using the Apple self-repair service in order to get all the original part. So if you do that, you will not have any issues with this thing has been disabled, the battery is not genuine battery, and you have some unknown part stuff. So this is why I'm saying you need to get the original battery if you can. So in order to close the device, I will need to remove all the existing double-sided tape that is on the inside of the device. One thing that I did that I do not recommend is reinstalling the battery before doing this step, because you're using a metallic tool in order to scrap all the double-sided tape. You need to be extremely careful not to touch the battery. So if you're doing this, make sure that you remove all the double-sided tape first before you reinstall the battery inside, because the risk is 100% if you install the battery inside and try to scrap the double-sided tape with a metallic tool. It is very risky. Puncture the battery and it might create a fire and you will lose your device. Also, near the cameras, I used this tweezer in order to scrap all the double-sided tape out. I did that because this is really small and I can go around the cameras without ever touching them. The flat metal tool is too big around the cameras. So now the installation of the double-sided tape. I also got this double-sided tape from the Apple self-repair service. So this is somewhat an original double-sided tape that an Apple supplier is selling for self-repair service. So for the installation, it is not difficult, but you will need to be careful. This is why they send 2 double-sided tape once you buy one. So like for this one, I thought that I was installing the double-sided tape right until I approached my head and looked carefully, and it wasn't really good. So I had to remove this one, so this one is wasted. So I will be using the second one that was included in the purchase. So these things are really cheap. I advise that you buy 2 and have 4 in case you need replacement. The process is easy. You simply need to lift the blue plastic and then start aligning the double-sided tape from the bottom going up. Once you have fully aligned the double-sided tape, you simply remove the blue plastic fully and then drop the double-sided tape inside. Next, you will need to apply some pressure on the pink plastic that is on top. After that, you remove the pink plastic and then you apply again some pressure on the double-sided tape itself. For the double-sided tape, I applied pressure with the plastic tool, giving me more control to where I'm applying the pressure. So while doing this, make sure that you're careful also not to apply pressure and remove the double-sided tape. If you do that, it is going to be wasted and you will need to reinstall a new one. You need to do this in order for the double-sided tape to be sticking on the inside of the device, on the frame of this iPhone 17. And once you start removing the plastic that is on top of the double-sided tape, you will have less chance of the double-sided tape to be wasted. Next, take a look at your back glass and make sure that you do not have any double-sided tape on the back glass itself. If you do, simply pull and remove all the existing double-sided tape that are still on the back glass. You do this because you want the new double-sided tape to work effectively, efficiently, and 100%. Here is the final result with all the existing double-sided tape removed. Time to reconnect the flex cable coming from the back glass and also the flex cable for the battery. And right after that, insert the retaining plate on top of the motherboard. If the retaining plate has been installed right on the motherboard, it should be able to sit by itself without the screws. Next, do the reinstallation of the 2 screws. It is time to remove the plastic covering the double-sided tape. For this one, you will need to go on the back in order to remove it fully without touching or damaging the cable coming from the back glass. Time to close the device and completely seal this iPhone 17. If you have a dusty environment, make sure that you blow some air on the camera lenses before you close the device. At this step, you should hear a few clicking sound, meaning that the back glass is sitting on the frame of the device. Right after that, you can add the 2 screws at the bottom of the device, and if your smartphone is not turning on with the power button, use the power cable in order to jumpstart the device. I mean, plug the charging cable. You should test the device to make sure that everything is working. I did the flashlight and I think everything is alright.